Good morning. Well, I came to do a minute for a community connection. But I'm also pausing for a moment from what I have written because what Maggie was preaching was so appropriate to what I'm going to talk about. And that's this conference I went to about dementia last week. Because when people get that diagnosis early on, they feel alone, they feel isolated, and they want to retreat, and they don't want to go, and they don't want to explore or ask questions, and it's scary. And so they're in that wilderness. And their caregivers, those very people they love, also have that sense of wilderness because who's this person I was married to? Who's this parent who no longer knows me? So it's just like, what a powerful sermon. So thank you for that. It just touched my heart. So last week, I went to Birmingham, Alabama with a couple volunteers from our community. And it was such an inspiring time together to be with people from 65 different programs like ours. So 13 years ago, a pastor felt a whispering. He got curious. He got in contact with a lady in his congregation who had worked for years in the field of gerontology and senior living. Together, they came up with this program for people in the congregation that were beginning to have dementia. Well, that program now has 65 programs. And so they just spread their knowledge and what's working. And so at this conference of 250 people from Florida to Washington, it was so exciting. We learned so much. We heard from speakers who were developing creative and innovative ways of connecting with people with dementia. They had a silent disco where we put on headphones. We all had the same music, and we just danced around. It was so fun. Another speaker talked about Legos and how you can use Legos to represent memories. And so you give a person a group of Legos and you say, okay, well, maybe this is a tree, and think about your childhood. So it brings that part of their brain of reminiscing, and then they're sharing with other people. And there's no judgment, you know. I'm terrible with Legos, so it was like so fun. So one of the activities we did that was so, it's amazing. There was all of us together doing drumming. And they had this great guy, this maestro in the middle, directing us. And it was such a coming together of creating a sound. Individual, we had our own thing, but together, what an impact we were making. A huge statistic that stuck out in my mind was that in this past year, these 65 programs had over 500,000 volunteer hours. So many of the programs are just like ours. We're just run by volunteers, and I'm so excited that Rainier Respite has people coming in from the community to join in. Just last Friday, we had another volunteer coming, new to Black Diamond, and is excited to share his gifts with us. So that brings me to gifts and talents and things that you all might have in your life, people you know who might like to share those gifts with our program. Come and spend a half an hour just touching the lives of others. So I'm just so grateful for that chance to go and meet with other people. I'm so grateful that our church has embraced this as a ministry to our community. We know dementia is growing. Every 3 seconds they say someone is diagnosed with dementia. The other last thing that I'll say is that one speaker talked about caregivers. So they get this diagnosis that their loved one has dementia, and they think, well, you know, they're not that bad. You know, I can still do things with them. But at that very moment, that's the time to start looking for things to do with them, like a dementia program, where we work on music and art and creativity, and we laugh and we have fun, and we develop this sense of community, and that caregiver can go have a break. They can take a nap. They can go have a cup of coffee. But that person is being given back autonomy and a sense of making their own decisions. Because I'll tell you, you know, in my family, we have family members with dementia, and we just want to make the decisions for them because, that might ease their anxiety. But no, that just takes away their sense of self. So that's my spiel, and I just thank you.